fucking terrible. I look all cored out and everything. I didn't make a video, which is cracked out usually early this morning because I called on my highest self, my higher selves. I love that over there. I love the energy. Got it over here as well. I can't get over, where I used to live. The apartment was, out of money. I'm going to have to put that in the sunlight. Bottle here broke, so I'm going to have to fix it. With that being said, remember when I used to have much less than this. I didn't have one bedroom. I had a cubbyhole, but I was content with it. And I moved there in the first place from 8th Street, from MacArthur Park, where it's mad nice. I remember when I first got out here to LA learning how hostile the wetbacks are towards blacks. When I was told that the wetback gang members would extricate and ostracize, black people, even regular black families, like an article that was published years ago. About the valley, I believe it was not Simi Valley. I don't want to say Ventura either, but it was one of those. That's fucking weird because I didn't have that last night. It was a lot of shit that I was facing, but I'm gonna get that all that shit squared away. But it was somewhere out in the valley, way out, not the San Fernando, but it was further out, and they were blocking black people from coming out there and all of that, and trying to run black people off. And now we got ice on your motherfucking asses at 866 or 877-347-2423. Again, that is 866 or 877-347-2423. That's the number for ICE. They also have, like I put at the beginning, ain't price ago, I'll put them on the wetbacks at that place. Put this shit on me. Speaking of which, I get discouraged by spirits, and I understand the logical logistics of it, but, I decided to play one of my most auspicious meditations for calling on your higher self. I had a little spirit guide that I've worked with before in the past, try to put me back together very, very quick. And, because my shit is all open and stuff and everything out there, it's exposed. Workers can see it and all of that. She wanted to do it quick in a manner where I don't feel it, where it's in tranquil. In the spirit plane, a lot of that stuff, when your body gets rebuilt and all of that, is supposed to be done in the middle of the night. That's not while you're, going through your sleep cycle or in a way in which you don't feel it. One of the symptoms that note that I got soul swapped is because, I remember hearing, entity attachments of minds that's connected to my consciousness, speaking and all of that, is because you can feel all of this. It's very, how do I say it? Very, I don't want to say intense, but I can feel it. It's very, very, I don't want to say tangible, but there's another word for it. With that being said, like I said, I'm thinking about getting Reiki in the future. There's Reiki that's very auspicious with me that I utilize for meditation and all of that. So I'm going to listen to that while I'm done with this. I was using 3002 hertz. There's also frequency I made in the spirit plane. They had two lead Mexican female cops that showed me this. Combining 12,000 hertz, with 6,000 hertz, which runs wetbacks away. I heard that during this curse, You know, when I used to woke motherfuckers on the PCH, but it was justifiable. Usually for motherfuckers fucking with me for walking topless and all of that. But when I got to Linwood County Jail, I remember while I was there, I did Soul Rescue on Selena, and I talked about it here. While I was in jail, now I'm forgetting stuff because my consciousness is all out of whack. It's on the tip of my tongue. When I got to jail, I started to see exactly where I was sending people. I thought it was just shadow people. I had no idea what the fuck I was putting on people. That shit, the roach realm don't motherfucking play. You end up in a roach's guts, and you end up in a living furniture hell realm. And there's actually where there was a guy by the name of Richard Shaver who used to, he wrote about the Taros and the Daros. The Daros kind of remind me of wetbacks, the way they build bad like refrigerators, like bean bags. There was a story on Reddit where there was a young kid in England. It's funny too, during this curse when I've had ancestors, you know, try to, you know, block motherfuckers from attacking me. I remember on a couple of occasions having an astral vision where I saw a young woman who looked like one of the Spice Girls with blonde hair. Emma Bunton, whose name I used to like, you know, saying. I love England, I'm a big fan of. Got a lot of British in English. 31% on 23rd to me. And I remember she would say, "Welcome to Newcastle upon time," or something to that effect. I used to be able to affect a very, 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 very accurate and good English accent, but I had a teacher, I found out that was, I don't want to say parmentu, but a segue into this whole curse with Baron Samedi and then all this shit with the soul swapping. Who told me her name was Miss Preston to drop the English accent. It had a weird effect on me that it shouldn't have had. You know, I think my inner thoughts was I didn't like the school in which I was attending. It was full of fucking nigga bitches. I was thinking to myself, I like white dudes. I should have fucking went to De La Salle. I fucked up. I could have had the whole high school experience down pat. I would have been happier. But from what I understand, because I wouldn't have become spiritual, so I wouldn't have gotten on Baron Samedi and Satan's radar. I started worshiping Satan, you know, in an attempt to do what your boy did in the butterfly effect. I got pentagram upside down and up above, as above, so below. Completed man, Star David, pentagram, completed woman. With that being said, like in the butterfly effect, I wanted to utilize Satan to try to change my timeline. And little did I know, I mean, Baron Samedi was doing that, but for very, very nefarious and inimical reasons. You know, you can easily change your timeline. You know, soul swapping is reality. If you get soul swapped, 808 Hertz can get you back in your body. I gotta, you know, that's why with this Maria Tavarez, I think her last name is A.S. or E.Z. I'm not really sure. I know if I say Taba, she starts to evidence out of reality, disappear. With that being said, I tried, when it comes down to soul swapping, you can use 808 Hertz. I feel, oh, this is why I brought her up. because I feel like it's just a lot of shit that keeps breaking down my body to block me from getting back. You know, from having a constituted energy spirit body in which I can use to bet me in getting back. A lot of evil, negative shit. That's why I had that motherfucker along with Mikey Hernandez put on me. He's connected to the August 22nd, 2022 timeline here. It's to block me from getting back. With that being said, I wanted to do what your boy Ashton Kutcher did in the butterfly effect and, you know, alter timelines, but a lot more, I don't want to say unrealistically or implausibly, but in a manner where it was, where I just wake up and I'm at De La Salle and all of my experiences connote to it instead of the horrific memories I got as Xavier Prep. With that being said, you know, I was obsessed with the Grand Grimoire, getting my hands on it. You know, to this day I got a, you know, Baphomet ring and all of that. You know, from what I understand, Baron Samedi, I had a dream about him too last night. Where, you know, I know people say that when there's danger, he appears and he's silent. But in this case, it was like he was transparent. I couldn't see him. And I saw the same thing with Elegua, Elizondo Salazar, how he's, you know, portrayed to me as hanging his head down. You know, I keep hearing of a prophecy, and I heard this too when I heard about what's going on with the ICE raids, of wetbacks taking over our black magic. And I want to avert that. And I see that it's, you know, coming from those people at 8704 Broadway with this Maria Tavarez, and this Santa Muerte bullshit. So I got to do something to stop it. With that being said, that really depressed me, of them coveting our black magic, ancestral magic. With that being said, Because, you know, in the spirit plane, there's rules. You know, even a client of mine who was supposed to be a future dad was remarking on this. You can't make deals with kids. You know, I was, 15, 14? I was a child back then. You can't make a deal with a child and expect it. She look like Judy right here. Pull this out. You can't expect it to be legal. So with that being said, I was stuck at Xavier Prep at one point. I don't know who made it possible. I believe Baron Samedi, maybe St, I don't know, was going to set it up for me to be able to matriculate over there. Midterm, because I was so fucking miserable. I had teachers telling me, drop, you know, don't speak with articulation. I had I should have been one of them fucking kids that materially came up. It's just the trajectory of my life is fucked up. Very fucked up on the face of it. I even had my Swedish past life self that sometimes isn't. Like, I didn't see this shit for... No. We got to avert the whole fucking thing, especially saying birthday shit. I remember having a teacher by the name of Miss McLeod standing me before the entire class and embarrassing me and making fun of me, talking about, tell Raven how you feel about, you know, when she uses big words and how she talks. And I don't know if I was crying, but I'm like, why the fuck you got to do that? You know, if I was more the alpha take charge, I wouldn't have tolerated that physically. You know, I have low tolerance for bullshit. You know, if I hear wetbacks and stuff talking about my yacht thing, call it nice. I don't play around. But with that being said, a lot of that shit was traumatizing, and I felt like there was no future, like that was just the beginning of the end. And sure enough, he grabbed a major soul piece of mine that I later got back with this curse, where I had those people attach themselves to it. You know, I kept hearing of a blonde lady seeing dreams about her wanting to make a deal with me and having all that Alex Nacimiento entity come to me and try to make a deal, but he actually gave me a chance, unlike most other motherfuckers that through Baron Samedi was just robbing my shit. I look at things from an occult perspective. Occult is more of the science side of spirituality than me. It's hawky shit, especially given what I know. As I said before, science means to know about the histories, the realities of, some of these so-called gods and goddesses. Never let a god or goddess preside over you. A lot of that connotes back to, staying stuck in the realm of the demiurge and not ascending and not rising higher. I heard from one of my road spirits, I had a lot of my soul consciousness and everything taken by, along with Baron Samedi and Elegua, Salazar, by Maria Tavarez and her Archangel Michael, whose name is, must change in the spirit plane, Raul Vargas the third. Rapist daddy was named Raul Vargas, and he's named for her rapist daddy. Your Archangel Michael's are oftentimes composites of your parents. With that being said, I heard him make a gesture and jest about ascending. Letting her ascend by taking her shit. That's why I don't fuck with wet bags. I don't deal with none of that shit. Those people, they come. I learned during this whole thing. They're made of and come direct from the primordial darkness, which is ruled by Satan and Zenu. That's the realms of chaos, the hell realms. When you have no light in you, you have no life. That's why a lot of them feed off the root and the sacral chakra and do activities that cognate to those. Like a lot of rape, pedophilia. I don't fuck with them. That's why next time I seek out a spiritual work, it's going to be somebody that's either Asian, black, or white, preferably, no matter. Those motherfuckers in Guatemala was telling me, yeah, the Mexican that was fucking with them. But they all, I even say that on the PCH, they are, because of their origins, they come from evil spirits. You look at their gods, like here. They looked at me and had to play a lot of frequencies to get my shit back today, dealing with this whackback bitch in my energy body. With that being said, you look at their gods and you compare them to Southeast Asian demons, they look exactly like them. Anytime you see shit with a distorted warped face and all of that, that's a demon. I used to say it on the PCH, those motherfuckers are organic portals for evil spirits. But until this curse hit, I couldn't articulate it. I knew I felt something intuitively was wrong about them as a group. But the light didn't shine upon me until this whole thing happened. And from what I saw more vividly in the spirit plane with them, their origins. And it ain't nothing nice. They made the sacrifices. A lot of them were made to work like hamsters on a treadmill to feed their, reptilian as well as evil spirit creators. I think they are helmed from Betelgeuse. Or, I don't want to say Ursula Minor, but there was a place. It starts with a C, I believe. Sinari something system. I don't want to say Tori. But, they talk about them in the KGB Book of Aliens. They describe them as having mesomorph bodies like they do and all of that. I don't fuck with them because of that. They come from dark shit. I steer clear of them motherfuckers. It wasn't until Al Yoda Bale, who's black, we come from direct. You know, our story is very prestigious. Don't try to kiss them people's ass if you know what I know, because you're above them. And they're beneath whites. Their reptilian god, Quetzalcoatl, was shapeshifted into a white man. Cortez went over there, they thought it was their guy returned, including Montezuma. There's not a lot of pride in that. I heard from some of them themselves, they can't even go to their ancestral, God creators and all of that because them motherfuckers will jilt them. Like during this curse, when they saw my family, because we appear as white in the astral plane, they were a lot more tenable and nicer and respectful. Changed when they saw I was black. But in the spirit plane, when they see them, they're like, we created these demented, demonic robots just to serve us and nothing more. We don't respect them. Mexico, all of them, they don't respect them. That's why all they have in the spirit plane are their ancestors. And if they have a little bit of African or white or something, they can call Yemeya, they can call Thor. They don't have the spiritual support system like we do. They can't do that. If they calling on Quetzalcoatl and shit, that's usually an ancestor, I believe. They'll act as the face of them. He ain't coming at you direct. And there's a lot of inferior shit I learned about him. I don't know if it's true, I bet. Anyways, with that being said, Xavier Prep is what set me on the course for all of this shit. From what I understand, being under Baron Samedi, who rocks more prestigious shit. The fork in the road for me was, if you get into anything spiritual, he catches your ass. Baron Samedi. If you don't, materialistic success lies in your path, in your way. Baron Samedi was showing me that during this. Now, I'm not really interested in material shit. And I never, I even heard from God and everything else. I never signed off on the soul contract with this shit, for this shit. Even with them people. So all that shit should be null and void. I'm looking to, extricate myself from all curses. Even if I got soul swap, I don't, there's always a better way of getting back. You can use 8127 hertz to remove curses. 8147 hertz is good. There was another one too that was like 116 hertz combined with something else, 200. I believe I used when I was about to get taken over by a very evil entity. That hertz combined with it's good for possession if you're about to get possessed. I believe it can work on entity attachments, but 8127 hertz is the truth for that. If you're dealing with somebody who's evil, I heard that another wetback in my old neighborhood, Miracle Mile, 637 Hauser Boulevard, was going to do something where he would make himself my higher self, usurp Baron Samedi, and replace him, and use that to energy harvest me. I mean, I'm going to call it's worse than that. Steal my blessings and all that shit automatic, on repeat. You can use 1945 hertz to get rid of false higher selves. it bounced back when I was trying to do it on this, because my energy due to, having my shit removed by Santa Muerte. That's why I want her removed out the spirit plane. Not only for me, but for the sake of them people. I learned in that timeline at one point, she was moved off them people's soul consciousness, and then people felt a lot lighter. You don't want something like that on you, because she can, people's higher to higher selves. Let's say somebody envy you. They can act as her because, again, she's a thought form, a topa. She's not self-sustaining or self-existent. They can come into your consciousness and just snatch you up. You don't want that. I did an article describing that and how you can petition God and all of that to, remove her. Saw this in the astral world when I was in jail. Her followers, unlike Baron Samedi, and them, you can use 694, 695 hertz to see, act as judge, jury, and executioner. That's scary, because the power of her lies in the hands of the people, and through bias, arbiter, like I saw a rape victim I rescued from her realm, a 2-year-old kid, and you be stuck in muck and all of that, and she has them going, try to pull souls into a hell realm. The justice that's dispensed is arbitrary. It's at the mercy of whoever don't like you, whoever has an issue with you, and you don't want that. With that being said, I had a lot of my soul consciousness poured out by this Maria Tavarez, and it gets tricky. Really, really, really bad in the spirit plane at her hands. And so with that being said, it's so much shit that's going on. I remember I used to, if you have everybody fucked up, wear tiger's eye. But I'll say this right now because it reflects. And it also has the rainbow insights in it that enhances the powers. I guess through ultraviolet, giving you, the same powers that people who on them Kardashev level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 civilizations have. Get you a rainbow crystal quartz. That's good for you maintaining your etheric body. And it protects. You won't even feel a difference for the most part. Get yourself a rainbow crystal quartz. I remember, the reason why I brought that up is because 2 weeks after May the 1st, 2024, them people did something that I kept hearing. I keep hearing Maria Tavarez's high self say I want her to stay dead. It's something about wanting to keep me from acquiring 2 timelines. May the 1st, 2024 timelines from getting back. And when I got them back, I felt like I was back in the world of the living. I remember seeing the Grim Reaper's reflection in it. With that being said, from what I'm understanding, from what I recall, Madonna, in that August the 22nd, 2022 timeline, one of her higher selves, I want to find that out about Maria Tavarez. I know she's part of Santa Muerte's system. You can use 694, 695 hertz C. Maria, her name is, remind me of that book, Urantina. Lourdes Urantia. And some of them road spears saying this might have been her that I got into an argument with in Miracle Mile. Out, and I thought it was he heard about me on the PCH and wanted to see me and pay me a little bit of money. Turns out he got trapped in the hell realm because he was independent of the Illuminati and he was going to do something to bring them down, like Eminem. And they put him in a realm that looks very similar to the 3D, but it's the 4D. just like with Wendy Williams, but that was an ancestor that took her over. That was stuck in hell realms. You could use 125 hertz, 1185 hertz, which transmutes to free people from hell realms. 156 hertz works for spirit jars. With that being said, they put him in the roach realm where it appears like here, I heard they did the same with me. Put this shit on me. I had the highest levels in that timeline. The white woman named Hybrid or something, and somebody else. Shouldn't have said all that. Energy signature, I don't think that. It seemed like some old nasty ass Arab bitch walking with a white bitch. By the way, when it comes down to mass mind control religions, I have nothing but the utmost respect for them people. Because that shit's closer to the occult than anything else. The other ones, Christianity is one big sacrifice. It's a shame, but I remember I've been wanting to do a video about Madonna, an article on my blog, toplessinla.org, with her sacrifice to some young girls. But with that being said, I was told that she took parts of me in the astral plane as a sacrifice. And I remember having my rainbow crystal quartz tightly around my neck and then all of a sudden losing it inexplicably in the bed. I was looking all throughout the motherfucking bed at first to serve, and I could not find it. No, you know what? I take that back. I still have crumpets of it. It cracked. It cracked. And I was like, I'm lying on the bed. Soft as a motherfucker. How the fuck does it crack? And I was told it's because you're in the spirit plane. You're not in your body. I remember somebody, the first day, May the 1st, 2024, somebody passing incense. Heard from the physical underneath my feet, and I felt transparent, like I was no longer alive, physical. So something weird is going on. Lord have mercy. So many missteps I took during this whole thing. I could have just went down, a straight line to... I brought this evil ass wetback bitch in, and I had no problems with Santa Muerte at all. Everything was kosher, and she was the only one that looked out for me. Made sure I would wake up and every fucking thing else, and I was pissed about that. But I'm trying to get to the truth. There's so much, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I know going back to that timeline, I'm being used as a sacrifice by her, as well as the Illuminati. I saw them take some pieces of my child consciousness. You can use 1248 hertz to defeat them, 115 hertz, 1150 hertz to locate them in the spirit plane. Playing 3002 hertz to get my shit back today, because I ain't got time for bullshit. I had it nice spiritually at one point during this whole thing, and that's why I gotta put my feet to the grindstone, be more discerning, and try to break free. So I know that timeline is real. I saw it written on my soul consciousness. Parents taking out their body by this entity here, Alex Nascimiento. Brothers killed in that timeline. I remember having the NOFD, the New Orleans Fire Department, which my brother Christian here worked for. Made something very foreboding, ominous about December 2023 or 22, right after I had been taking out my body. Forecast what was coming. I heard they got in a white car, traveled out here to California to see me when I, quote unquote, became famous. I heard she was on Dr. Phil's show in that timeline. It was a couple of days after. She broke free of the people that were setting her up to be just a prostitute for him. And her timeline started in Radio City Music Hall. I heard her name was Ashley Terrell. She used to go by Ashley Hampstead or something, but it's Ashley Terrell. It was somebody else, white woman. Tisdale, I don't know. But I know it was Ashley Terrell. My father from that timeline was telling me. Told me he died on August 20th, 2023. Y'all see what's going on. With that being said, from what I understand, her timelines, and Maria Tavarez is in charge of them. To me, it's alright. To me, it's something. Her timelines start at Atchafalaya Bay. I got Destrehan, Louisiana. I remember one night when I was staying at the Manor, which is a homeless shelter, Pico Boulevard. Man, nice, got a pool, everything. You know, it's got like a bedroom that you can share with other people. I was made to, you know, there's the curse combined with the soul swap and artificially smelled so bad to the point where they put me in my own room, and that felt cool, but I'm talking to rose spirits and shit. Them niggas had me cracking up, and they've tried to help me on many occasions. Many occasions I've had them, you know, pull me out when I almost couldn't wake up. And my parents, my family were active in it. That's how I know that curse is real. Because anytime your family, your people are active in dreams and all of that, that means they ain't in their bodies. So this shit I live with is real. It seems schizophrenic, but that shit is real. Kanye West, I remember having dreams of Jeff Bezos. That's why he looks artificial here. With that being said, from what I understand in that timeline, there was something else I wanted to mention. I'm being made to forget. Her timeline started at Radio City Music Hall. And my parents got, you know, from what I understand, made a sacrifice in that timeline. They got pulled out of their bodies. Oh, this is what I wanted to mention about the man. I was running in the park one night, and somebody put the timelines, physically I felt, of somebody from Destrehan, Louisiana on my back. Their ancestral timelines. Usually, that's setting you up for soul swapping when that happens. And I remember the next day, there was an Indian shopkeeper, very level-headed, logical, rational man who said to me he got a phone call from somebody sounding exactly like me through static asking for help. That's the sign of a ghost. So something weird happened on that date and on May the 1st, 2024. I haven't been back in my body ever since. With that being said, let me go ahead and do the reading. It's depressing what I've seen, and it's hard because my consciousness is all frayed and fucked up to talk about what happened. So in the obstacle position, we got the Nine of Cups. I feel like there's somebody that's around you that's blocking you from success. Six of Pentacles. Current position. You have help. Kind of like my higher self that I'm calling on. You have abetment at your disposal. You got people, somebody looking out as powerful. The moon is the future. Make sure you don't do anything that could fuck you up. Don't fall for deception, all that shit. Subconscious, we got the Seven of Wands. And I feel that you're at a point where disaster, You feel like disaster is imminent, but I feel like you're going to overcome it. Knight of Wands. That's your goals position. And that's to get out of a very murky situation that's been keeping you stuck in muck. Like Santa Muerte's round. The Eight of Pentacles. I took so many fucked up side steps, it's not even funny. Eight of Pentacles is your advice card. You're heading in a direction where you're going to get a lot of help. And you have motherfuckers that's been watching your situation that want to help. Lovers. I see somebody that you don't see coming that's going to help you out and make things a lot better for you. Six of Cups. Fears in your hopes card. You fear losing people that you love. It's a very tricky situation that you're in. That demands a lot of contemplation. And you have to be very, very careful. You know, use correct judgment. Ten of Pentacles is the outcome. You see you heading in the direction where you get all. And you're going to accomplish all. Just make sure to be cognizant of missteps. You know, don't fall for deception. With that being said, if you want a more personalized reading, please contact me at ravenbyterror22@yahoo.com. Peace.